I never planned to go camping alone. But after my divorce, I just needed some time away from everything. Everyone kept telling me I needed space to think, so I figured a week in the Cascades would help clear my head. My therapist even encouraged it, said nature could heal parts of me that conversations couldn't reach. The first couple days were actually kind of nice. I set up my little tent in this secluded spot near a stream. The weather was good, not too hot, not raining. I spent most of my time hiking during the day and reading by my campfire at night. I even started feeling better about everything. I'd forgotten what silence actually sounds like, you know. Real silence. But on the third day, I noticed something weird. When I got back from my afternoon hike, stuff around my campsite looked different. My cooking pot wasn't where I left it. My backpack was unzipped a little bit. I tried to convince myself I was just forgetting things. Maybe it was animals. Raccoons can open zippers, right? That's what I told myself anyway. I'd accidentally left half a granola bar in the front pocket. Probably attracted something. That night I had trouble sleeping. I kept thinking I heard something outside, but whenever I sat up to listen, everything was quiet. I probably should have left right then. But I'd paid for a whole week at the permit office, and I kept telling myself I was being paranoid. On the fourth night, I woke up around 3 a.m. There were footsteps. Not animal footsteps, human footsteps. Someone was walking around my tent. They were moving slowly, like they were trying to be quiet, but I could hear the leaves crunching under their feet. There was this distinct pattern to them, like whoever it was would take 4 steps, pause, then another 4. I froze up. My heart was beating so loud I thought whoever it was could probably hear it. Finally, I yelled out, "Hello? Is someone there?" I tried to sound confident, but my voice cracked. The footsteps stopped immediately. Complete silence. I didn't sleep at all after that, just sat there clutching my pocket knife, waiting for sunrise. When the sun came up, I unzipped my tent and stepped outside. I almost threw up when I saw it. There were small piles of stones arranged in a perfect circle around my tent. Each pile was exactly the same distance from the next one. 6 feet apart, I measured later. 7 stones in each pile. My hiking boots that I'd left outside were placed neatly side by side, facing toward the forest, like someone was trying to tell me which way to go. The laces had been untied and retied in a way I never do, with perfect, symmetrical bows. I started packing up my stuff right away. I wasn't staying another night. While I was rolling up my sleeping bag, I noticed something hanging from a tree branch about 20 feet away. It was swinging a little in the breeze. I walked over to look. It was one of those old disposable cameras, just hanging there from a piece of string. I don't know why, but I took it with me, maybe as proof that I wasn't going crazy. I hiked out of there as fast as I could. Didn't see a single person the whole way back to my car. The forest felt different though, like something was watching me the entire time. When I got home, I almost threw the camera away, but a week later, I took it to get the film developed. Most of the pictures were just empty forest, trees, bushes, nothing special. But the last 3 pictures made me call the police. They showed me, sleeping, inside my tent. Somehow, someone had taken pictures of me through the tent fabric using the flash. The 3rd picture was the worst. It showed my tent from just inches away. There was a shadow of someone holding what looked like a hunting knife. I talked to a police officer who said they'd had other reports about that area. Apparently there's some group of people living in those woods. He said they sometimes study hikers for days before they make contact. The officer told me they'd found other campsites with those same stone arrangements that summer. I still have trouble sleeping. I keep the windows locked, even during hot nights. And sometimes, when I wake up at 3 a.m., I swear I can hear footsteps circling my house. The worst part? I found out later that 3 solo hikers went missing in those same woods the following year. They never found them. I still have that camera. I keep it as a reminder to never go back to those woods, and to never ignore that feeling when something isn't right. So this happened to me and my research partner Marina last summer. We were grad students working on this ecology project in the mountains. There were 6 of us total. We had to document all these changes happening in remote areas, for science and stuff. Our professor wanted us to be efficient, so we made this main camp where everyone stayed. Then we'd go out in pairs to different spots to take pictures and collect samples. Some places were pretty far, so we'd have to stay overnight. Marina and I got assigned this 3-day trip to check out an old ranger station about 7 miles north of our main camp. I wasn't super excited about it because the hike was tough, but Marina was cool and brought extra snacks, so that made it better. The first day was normal. We hiked most of the day, set up our tent about a mile from the ranger station, and just crashed. I remember being really tired and my feet had these huge blisters. Marina let me use some of her special bandages. That's the kind of person she was, always prepared for everything. The weird stuff started on the second day. We finally reached the ranger station around noon. It was this old wooden building, kind of falling apart. The windows were dirty, and there was moss growing on one side. But when we got closer, something felt strange. The door wasn't locked, which I guess makes sense since it's abandoned. But when we went inside, things didn't look abandoned at all. There was this shelf with dried food on it. Not super old stuff either, looked pretty recent. And some of the forestry equipment that should have been there was missing. Marina noticed it first. "Hey, look at this," she said, pointing to this desk in the corner. There was this notebook on it, a logbook. We thought maybe it was from when the station was still in use, But then we opened it. The dates were recent, like this month recent. Someone had been writing down every single hiking group that passed anywhere near this place. And I'm not talking just names. This book had everything. What they looked like, what gear they carried, which direction they were heading. I remember looking at Marina, and she had this look on her face, like she was gonna be sick. I felt it too, this weird feeling in my chest, like when you miss a step going downstairs. Then we got to the last page. Our names were there, mine and Marina's. It had our exact route written down. It listed everything in our backpacks, even the secret candy bars I had stuffed in my sock. Don't judge. Bears can smell food in bags. But the worst part was this phrase underneath our names. No defensive capabilities. And it was underlined 3 times. I didn't get what it meant right away, but Marina did. We had no weapons, nothing to protect ourselves. Below that was a schedule. It showed when each pair from our research group would be away from the main camp over the next 2 weeks. Like whoever wrote this was planning something. We didn't even talk about it. We just looked at each other and started grabbing our stuff. Left most of the heavy research equipment behind. I still had my camera around my neck when we started running. It got dark while we were hiking back, but we didn't stop. I tripped like 4 times and got this huge cut on my knee, but Marina helped me up each time. We used our flashlights even though we probably shouldn't have. They made us easier to spot. But we were too scared to walk in the dark. When we finally got back to the base camp, nobody was there. All 6 tents were still set up. The fire pit still had warm ashes. But our 4 friends were just gone. Their sleeping bags were still in their tents. One of them had a book open on their pillow, like they just got up for a minute and planned to come back. I wanted to look for them, but Marina grabbed my arm so hard it left marks. She said we needed to get to the ranger station where we could call for help. The nearest one that was actually operating was like 15 miles away. We hiked all night again. When we finally reached the ranger station the next morning, the rangers called the police. They went out to check the abandoned station and our camp. They found all these hidden compartments in the floor and walls of the old station. They were filled with stuff, backpacks, clothes, camping gear, all belonging to hikers who had gone missing over the years. There were maps with certain camping spots marked for collection. They never found our friends. They never found whoever was writing in that book. Sometimes I still wake up at night thinking about how our names were the last ones in that logbook, and I wonder whose names would have come after ours if we hadn't seen it. I don't go camping anymore. Marina doesn't either. She moved to a different state and changed her major to something that keeps her indoors. Last time we talked, she told me she still sleeps with the lights on. Sometimes I think about what would have happened if we'd gotten back to camp just a few hours earlier, or if we'd taken a different route and never seen that logbook at all. I guess I'll never know. But if you're planning a hiking trip somewhere remote, just remember, You might think you're alone out there, but someone might be watching. Someone might be writing your name down in a book right now. And if they're writing that you have no defensive capabilities, well, maybe reconsider your trip. I never thought I'd be sharing this story online. I'm not good with words and stuff, but I need to get this out there as a warning to anyone thinking about hiking the northern trails of Blackwater Ridge. This whole camping trip was my idea. Me and 5 friends from college wanted to reconnect after graduation. We hadn't seen each other in like 2 years, and I thought a challenging wilderness trail would be perfect. Alex, Jessica, Marcus, Tina, and Kyle all agreed to come. Big mistake. The first 2 days were actually pretty cool. We found this amazing valley to set up camp where sounds traveled in weird ways. Like, you could whisper on one side and hear it clearly on the other. We thought it was awesome at first. We played around with it, laughing at how our voices bounced around. I remember Kyle kept making these stupid echo jokes that somehow still made us laugh after the 5th time. I noticed on the 2nd night that my sleeping bag had been unzipped and re-zipped. I figured maybe I'd forgotten to zip it all the way, or one of my friends was messing with me. Didn't think much of it. On the 3rd night, Alex kept saying he heard voices. We all made fun of him. Jessica called him paranoid. I said it was probably just the wind playing tricks through the weird echo chamber of the valley. But then Jessica's weather radio picked up these weird fragments of conversation. It wasn't static or emergency broadcasts or anything normal. It sounded like people using walkie-talkies nearby. They were talking about scheduled patrols and mentioned our perimeter. We figured they must be park rangers checking the area. Watch was broken, so I don't even know what time it was when we finally fell asleep. The next morning is when everything changed. I got up to pee and noticed something off about our stuff. At first, I couldn't put my finger on it. Then I realized everything had been moved. Not stolen, just rearranged slightly. My water bottle was on the left side of my tent instead of the right where I always put it. My backpack was zipped up, but I never zip it all the way. I woke everyone up. They thought I was being dramatic until they checked their own things. Marcus found mud on his hiking boots, mud from somewhere we hadn't been. The boots had been neatly placed back exactly where he left them, but someone had used them. Then Tina found these little stake things pushed into the ground around our tents. They were placed at exact distances from each other, like someone had measured precisely. They definitely weren't there the day before. We started packing up right away. No way we were staying another night. That's when Marcus found this small notebook wedged behind his tent. Inside were detailed notes about us, what we ate for dinner, conversations we had thought were private, our sleeping patterns, even stuff about which of us snored. The last entry in the notebook really got to me. It just said, "Subjects adequately cataloged. Begin extraction protocol at 02 Sorrow." We looked at my friend Kyle's watch. It was 11 a.m. Whatever extraction was supposed to happen, it would have been just 3 hours after we found the notebook. We practically ran down that trail, never looked back, never told park rangers because honestly, what would we say? Someone was watching us? Someone wrote down our conversations? They'd think we were crazy or on drugs. It's been 4 months now. Sometimes I wake up at night thinking I hear voices through the walls of my apartment. Yesterday I found my shoes lined up differently than how I left them. I'm probably just being paranoid after what happened. But here's the thing that still bugs me. In that notebook there was a section labeled Subject 7. There were only 6 of us on that trip. I don't go camping anymore.